The Pixel 7 is the latest smartphone from Google. It has a new Tensor G2 chip, updated camera features, and more. But the best part has to be the price. It starts at only $599. Google seriously knocked it out of the park for that price. But did you know that Apple is currently still selling an iPhone for $599? That's right, on Apple's website, you can get an iPhone 12 for $599. Yes, it's the same iPhone that was released 2 years ago, but it's still available to buy brand new from Apple. So how does a $599 iPhone compare to a $599 Pixel? Let's get started. We're going to compare these two smartphones in 5 different categories. For each round, we'll select the winner, and in the end, we'll select the best $600 smartphone. Let's start with round 1, display. The Google Pixel 7 has a 6.3-inch 1080 by 2400 OLED display, and it has a 90 Hz refresh rate, which just makes using the phone smoother. And I honestly love the display on the Pixel 7. Not the highest resolution, but the screen gets bright, colors are vibrant, and it's just an all-around excellent display for $600. The iPhone 12 has a 6.1-inch 2532 by 1170 pixel resolution display, which is also an excellent display for the price tag, but it's not as bright as the Pixel 7, it's slightly smaller than the Pixel 7's display, and it only has a 60 Hz refresh rate. So yeah, it seems like the iPhone 12's display is starting to show its age. If I was going to choose a display that I prefer, it would have to be the Pixel 7. Colors are more vibrant on the Pixel 7, you have deeper blacks, and even though you don't get 120 Hz, 90 Hz is still a good step up from 60. This round was honestly pretty easy for me, and I'm giving it to the Pixel 7. Round 2 is performance. You might think this is an easy round. I mean, how can a 2-year-old smartphone really compete with a smartphone from today, right? At least when it comes to performance. Well, if you thought that, you'd be wrong. Apple's mobile chipset is still the best in the business. The A14 Bionic is still a beast even 2 years later. The Google Pixel 7 has the all-new Google Tensor G2 chip, but when you look at the benchmarks, it's honestly not even close. The A14 Bionic is at another level when compared to the benchmarks of the Google Pixel 7. Of course, benchmarks don't tell the whole story, and the Tensor G2 is still a very capable processor. Day-to-day use, the smartphone feels smooth and applications open up quickly, and I haven't noticed really any slowdowns while using the Pixel 7, or really any issues with the performance for that matter. Both of these processors are really going to handle everything you throw at it. Mobile gaming should also be fine on both of these smartphones, but on paper, the A14 Bionic blows the Tensor out of the water, which means over time, the iPhone 12 should just perform better as the years go on. When it comes to battery life, that's a different story. If there's one weak point with the iPhone 12, it has to be battery life. This phone struggles to get through a whole day for me, and I end up having to keep a charger near me to keep this phone topped up, at least with heavy usage. Light usage, you can probably get a full day. The Pixel 7 is much better when it comes to battery life. I'm getting through a full day, and it's not the best when compared to other smartphones out there, but I would say it's above average. So when it comes to performance, one of these phones has a better processor while the other has better battery life. I guess it just depends on which one is more important to you, but for me, the A-series chipset inside the iPhone is just so ridiculously powerful that it just makes the phone future-proof. You're going to have a solid performing smartphone for many years to come, and with the Tensor G2, while it is improved when compared to the last generation, I still don't know how it's going to hold up as time goes on. So this round, I'm going to give it to the iPhone 12. Round 3 is camera. Now this round might be subjective. You might prefer how one smartphone takes pictures or video over the other, but I'll try to be as objective as possible. With the Pixel 7, you're getting a 50 megapixel wide-angle camera sensor and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide on the back. With the iPhone 12, you have a 12 megapixel wide-angle camera and a 12 megapixel ultra-wide-angle camera on the back. So with both of these phones, you're missing the additional telephoto sensor that most flagships come with today. But really, neither of these phones, when they were released, were supposed to provide the best camera experience. They both have, or had, a more expensive older brother Pro phone that really came with all the fancy camera features. But the Pixel 7, I would say, is closer to the more expensive Pixel 7 Pro than the iPhone 12 is to the iPhone 12 Pro. For me, I just prefer the photos that the Pixel 7 is able to capture over the iPhone 12. It's able to capture more detail. I prefer the portrait shots that come out of the Pixel over the iPhone 12. Even when it comes to video, where the iPhone is usually the king, the Pixel 7 has really improved, and in some areas I actually prefer it. Stabilization is pretty great now on the Pixel 7, and while yes, I do prefer the iPhone's video capture, I also have to remember that this is a 2-year-old phone. So that's given Google some time to catch up on the video side, and I think they honestly have, at least when compared to the iPhone 12. You also get cool features with the Pixel 7 like Magic Eraser, which can erase objects from the background, Face Unblur, which does a pretty impressive job at unblurring photos, and more. You're also getting shooting modes on the Pixel 7 like Cinematic Video and Photosphere. These modes are just not available on the iPhone 12, and this camera system on the iPhone is just lacking in features when compared to the Pixel 7. Because of that, and the fact that I just prefer the video and photos on the Pixel 7, it wins round 3. Round 4 is design. Both Apple and Google have their own design language. Google is continuing with its back visor camera design, and this year, instead of having the camera bump made of glass, it's made of metal, and I think it's a nice improvement this year. Honestly, when I saw the photos, I didn't like it, but now having the phone in person, it's kind of grown on me. You have very small bezels up front and a small punch hole camera as well. The Pixel 7 also has rounded sides, which are just more comfortable to hold when compared to the iPhone 12. With the iPhone, you have the normal flat edge design, which I do like. The iPhone 12 was the first phone to introduce that new design language, or at least reintroduce it back to the iPhones. The camera bump is also not as huge as the new iPhones are, and while I do like the flat edge look that the iPhones now have, it's much less comfortable to hold and use. Also, don't forget about the notch. The iPhone 12 has the notch, and the Pixel's punch hole is just less obtrusive, and it just looks better in my opinion. If I had to choose one design over the other, I would probably have to go with the Pixel 7. It's not my favorite design, but it's sort of grown on me. The iPhone 12, well, it's a design that's been around for a while now, and it just feels a little stale. The Pixel 7 just feels fresh and different, and using the phone is just much more comfortable. It's kind of a personal preference though, and you might feel differently and prefer the design on the iPhone 12, but because of those things that I mentioned, round 4 goes to the Pixel 7. The final round is features. Both of these phones have their fair share of features. You get the normal smartphone things like wireless charging on both phones, but the Pixel 7 does have 20-watt fast wireless charging, and you don't get that with the iPhone 12. You do have MagSafe compatibility with the iPhone 12 though, which gives you access to all those MagSafe accessories and more, which I actually really like. But the Pixel 7 has battery share, where you can wirelessly charge other devices with your Pixel phone. You also have Face Unlock and Fingerprint Unlock with the Pixel 7, but the iPhone 12's Face ID is much more reliable and consistent than the Pixel 7's Face Unlock, at least in my opinion. Both phones are IP68 water resistant, and both have stereo speakers. And both of these smartphones have excellent speakers. They get loud and they have a clear sound. When it comes to wired charging, the Pixel 7 is capable of 30-watt fast charging with a compatible brick, and the iPhone 12 can only do 20 watt. Now when it comes to storage, the Pixel 7 definitely wins. It has 128 gigabytes of starting storage, while the iPhone 12 has 64 gigabytes, which is a shame. For me, it seems like the Pixel 7 has updated features that actually belong in 2022, while the iPhone 12 is still kind of stuck in 2020, which kind of makes sense. It was released back in 2020, but you're just getting better features with the Pixel 7. You're getting more storage, faster charging, and a USB Type-C port instead of the Lightning port, which for me is a useful feature. And the iPhone 12's features are just kind of a step behind. Because of that, the Google Pixel 7 wins round 5. So after 5 rounds, it wasn't even close. The Pixel 7 wins 4-1 against the iPhone 12. Of course, most of this will be based on the ecosystem you're in. If you're deep in Apple's ecosystem, it makes sense to go with the iPhone 12. But if you just want the best phone $600 can buy, I honestly think the Pixel 7 is leading the way. I'm super happy with what Google is doing with the Pixel, and I think it makes more consumers think twice before they buy their next flagship. But what do you guys think? Do you agree with my winner for each round? Let me know with a comment down below. Which $600 smartphone do you prefer? Leave a comment down below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos just like this one on tech news, reviews, and opinions, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our new videos, and I'll see you on the next one.